diamond painting addicts, and welcome back to Diamond Painting Anonymous. I'm Daphne, and I'm here today for this week's WIP and Chat. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. WIP, W-I-P, stands for Work in Progress, and this is mine. You are welcome and encouraged to go grab whatever you are working on and work alongside while I chat, or alternatively, you can treat this as a podcast and just listen while I chat. Today I am going to be working on my Ocean Breeze kit. This is my first kit for our August water-themed diamond paint along. So let me zoom in to where I'm going to be working and I will be right back. So let me start off with my let me start off with my regular life. What's been going on in my regular life? Not a ton, same as last week. We spent several days over at the rental for my niece-in-law. She and her boyfriend rented a house on the beach and invited everyone over for a couple of meals. So we had like a potluck dinner and then like a barbecue dinner. I was asked to bring my banana cream pie, so I did. It was a big hit. It's always funny to me how people respond to stuff like that because it's such a simple thing to me. Like, who hasn't had banana cream pie? People in Canada, apparently. I don't know if that's because we're so far north, stuff like that just doesn't make it south, or from the south doesn't make it this far north. I don't know, but everyone was very appreciative of it. Should just be spear fishing for some of these, where I only need like one drill instead of dumping them out like that one. I'm having trouble with some of the drills not wanting to stick to the canvas. Did Diamond Art Club change their glue or something? I don't know. It's weird. I changed the glue in my pen, so I thought at first it was that, but I've never had this much problem before. All right, I went and had my blood work done. I was expecting it to take a lot longer than it did. I had an appointment, I guess, which helps. Hubby and I got there when they told us to, got checked in, and I got called right at my appointment time, so we didn't spend a whole lot of extra time waiting, which was good. Although it felt like it took forever, 6 vials of blood later, and I had to be fasting while they did it, so I was super hungry. So we went out to eat after we got done, and we went to this place that they specialize in breakfast and lunch, and I had these cinnamon roll pancakes that were freaking delicious. It was so big I couldn't finish all of them, but they were so good. Okay, I think I'm done with her little rings here now. Let me finish her fingernails that I can see in this section. And then I can move on to her hand and her hair. You can see I've already been working on this one. It's going a lot faster than some of the other ones, which is good. I had to laugh at the last dinner that we went to. The first one we went to was basically just my husband's family and then the niece and her boyfriend. So the house was a lot less crowded because her dad is one of 6, I think. So there were a ton of people there and some cousins as well. But I had to laugh because when we all sat down, all the in-laws from my brother-in-law's, the dad's side of the family, sat on one side of the room, and everybody else from my husband's side of the family sat on the other side of the room. So it was like the couch was dividing us. I mean, everybody was very nice and pleasant, but I just thought it was funny. All right, what else did I want to tell you guys? Oh, I've been watching a lot of National Geographic shows. I was watching one about ancient Greece. It was actually pretty interesting. I used to read a bunch of ancient Greek myths, and listening to people say the names differently and everything was kind of funny. And then we were watching one that was narrated by James Cameron, and it was about them going deep sea hunting for things in the Arctic, looking for these certain animals that they thought were extinct, if I can get my mouth to work. They were looking for a certain kind of shark. I can't remember the name of the shark, but it was terrifying looking. They actually managed to find one. And then the other thing they were looking for in that episode was a bow's head whale, which they look like they have these like little skinny black heads, but then the rest of their face is white, so their head is actually quite huge. And something like they only have to breathe once every decade or something. Like, how is that even possible? I don't understand. Mother Nature is so bizarre sometimes. And then they were studying polar bears because the ice is disappearing the what they're surviving on because the seals, which is what they normally eat, aren't there because the ice is disappearing. Apparently some of them have started eating reindeer or caribou, whichever one it is that lives on Svalbard. I watch a YouTuber who lives on Svalbard and she's always talking about polar bears, but they said something like 300 polar bears live on that island. It just seems kind of crazy, because there is a town of people who live there. See what I mean about stuff not sticking sometimes? It doesn't want to come off my pen. I don't think it's all my pen, because most of them work just fine. Maybe it is my pen, what do I know? Anyway, so it was kind of interesting watching them weighing these giant polar bears in a sling, and I love watching National Geographic stuff. It's always so fascinating to see what's what, except ones about the insects and poisonous things. I don't usually watch those. That shark was terrifying looking, though. I told my husband these are reasons why I don't want to swim in the ocean. If I can't see the bottom, I'm not getting in. Thank you very much. We've been watching a lot of archaeological ones where they are digging up or discovering things that have been buried as waters recede. It's like towns that got swallowed up when they made man-made lakes and things like that, when they dammed up some lakes and or they dammed up rivers and made lakes. Always fascinated by stuff like that. I want to watch this one. There's a new show out with Tom Hiddleston, the guy who played Loki. It's a series about Pompeii, but it's about people who survived. And I was like, what? People survived? I thought basically everyone died. But that's what the series is about, is them trying to trace and see if there were any survivors. You'd think there have to be some. They always talk about how everything was destroyed. Maybe somebody got out in time, though. Also, speaking of destroyed, I watch a YouTuber who does like good news stories because everything is always doom and gloom. And I feel like I need some good news to counteract everything else. And so he does every month good news you might have missed. I'll put a link to his YouTube down below if I remember, because it's always really nice to see, and it's from all the different parts of the world that he gathers information. So like that's where I saw the thing about collecting humidity out of the air for water that they do in desert climates. Always done things about cleaning out microplastics out of the water, just all different kinds of stuff. Places that have been reclaimed by like indigenous tribes, whether that's in the Amazon or First Nations in Canada or wherever it may happen to be, getting land back so that they can protect it. Anyway, he had a story about Australia doing some work to conserve animals that have become endangered, and one of them was the numbat. And I was like, what the heck is a numbat? I've never heard of that. So I went out and looked a picture of it up. Oh my gosh, they're the cutest little things. They look sort of like baby anteaters. They have the same kind of long snout and tongue like anteaters do, but they're little, so they're cute. Or maybe my idea of cute is skewed, I don't know. I thought they were cute. I also watched a series about them trying to help the barrier reef recover because the warm water is bleaching out a lot of the coral and killing out the reef. So they're trying to, I don't know if they're breeding specific coral or they just found a kind of coral that does better in the warm water, but they're trying to breed it basically and then introduce it to the reef to help the reef recover. It was really interesting. Been watching a lot of National Geographic and a lot of the archaeological shows. Kind of makes me wish I'd paid more attention when I was studying history, because they talk about some stuff and I'm like, wait, I don't remember reading about that. Of course, you're reading about or watching a show about archaeology they're doing in Britain. I probably didn't get that covered a lot in my world civilization class. they're trying to cover so much in world history, how in-depth can you get versus, like, I'm sure they cover a lot more about British history in Britain than we do here in the States. Or there in the States, I guess, since I'm here in Canada now. Alright, I think that's everything I wanted to tell you for my regular life. So let's move on to my diamond painting life. What's been going on in my diamond painting life? Well, I finished 2 canvases. So I got 3 finishes in July. I finished my big Christmas shop one, and then I also finished the flamingo and birds and flowers that I showed you guys in a video earlier this week. So yay that I got those finished. And then I was going to be working on my Coliseum kit. And you guys, I have to confess that I decided to DNF the Coliseum kit. I'd been working on it for a couple of days, and after working on it, basically realized that it was all shades of brown with some blue thrown in for the sky. It had some other issues too. Like, this is the pen that I like to use with this tip for round drills, and they just weren't the right size or something because this pen didn't work. So I was having to finagle and deal with other tips, which was not fun. Of course, I think there was just a bunch of things going on. My putty was being really annoying, but it's been really rainy and humid here, so I think that was part of it. I finally ran out of my micro dots, so now I have left are the bigger ones, which are ones that I have to cut down, glue dots that I have to cut down for my pens, and those were being annoying. I just couldn't get into all of the browns. And I know people are going to say, well, you knew what the kit looked like before you bought it. Yeah, I did. And I knew it was going to be a bunch of brown. But it wasn't until I started diamond painting it that I realized I got the image of the Colosseum because I want to visit the Colosseum, not because I want to diamond paint the Colosseum, if that makes sense. So I decided to abandon it because I found myself sitting down to diamond paint, and then I would go find something else to do because I didn't want to work on it. And that's a sure sign that I probably shouldn't do that diamond painting. So I DNF'd it, which I feel slightly guilty about, but I was just going to be miserable if I tried to force myself to finish it, so I decided not to put myself through that. And I've been enjoying this kit way more, even with some of the issues that I've been having. I also was going to try and do the flower bouquet from Hobby Lobby to finish up those 3 kits that I purchased, but that one is a square, so it was going to take me longer, and I just decided that I was going to wait and do that one after August. So maybe I'll pick that one back up in September after we're done with our water theme. Because after I do this one, I want to work on my little seahorse, which is pretty little, so it shouldn't take me very long. And then after that, I'm not sure. I kind of want to do my pressed and placed after that because it's also an underwater scene, so it would qualify. But I'm also debating whether or not I want to start a bigger project that will then carry over into September, since we don't have a theme for September this year. I'm going to really have to reconsider how I want to do my goals next year because we're going to have a theme next year for every single month. So I have posted the first batch of polls for the theme, so you have to go to the channel to vote. So if you're here watching, make sure after you're done that you go to the posts and check out the posts so that you can vote. I posted the first batch, so January, February, March. Each theme has 4 different choices. So pick your choice, and it should show you which one is in the lead after you vote. And then I can go in and see which ones are the most popular so that we can figure out what the themes are going to be. And I'll try to post 3 each week during August. Remember, we're still going to keep June for DP for pets, and we're still going to keep November for DP for veterans, but we're going to skip December because I feel like everyone needs some time to recuperate. The year's going to be busy enough. But I think maybe next year, instead of me having multiple finishes per month, I'm just going to aim for one, at least just one on the theme. And that way everybody can start planning for next year. Hopefully September, October, all the themes will have been chosen and we can all start planning for 2027, crazy as that sounds. Also, I didn't post videos a couple of days this week. I actually was going to post a video of me kitting up the seahorse kit, but I forgot to talk during most of it. So it's a lot of just sitting there listening to me pour drills and things, which I thought was going to be kind of boring, so I didn't post it. And then someone mentioned in a comment that if I wanted to do all WIP and chats, then I should do all WIP and chats. It's my channel. I should do what I want. It's not that I want to do all WIP and chats. It's just sometimes these kits are taking me longer than I think lately. Either that or I'm slowing down in my old age. That could be it too. I just don't seem to get them done as quickly as I did before. I'm going to blame it on old age. Why not? That's what I blame everything else on, right? What else did I want to tell you? Oh, somebody was saying if I wanted to do just WIP and chats all the time. And again, not that I want to do just WIP and chats all the time, but what would I talk about? You know, I already talk about my regular life, which is not that interesting most of the time. I talk about my diamond painting stuff. I think that's what they were saying. It doesn't always have to be about diamond painting. No, I agree. But are there specific things you guys want to hear about? We've not been traveling as much as I thought we would, so I don't have a lot to report in that area. So yeah, leave me a comment below and let me know if there's something specific you're interested in me chatting about. Otherwise, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing and sharing with you all the weird stuff that I watch and strange things that happen to me. I haven't fallen out of any chairs recently, so that's good. I did almost hit myself in the face yesterday playing with Oscar and his ball. I didn't hit myself, but it was close enough that I flinched back and my husband thought I hit myself. So he was giddily laughing because he thought I hit myself with the ball. I'm sure it looked like I had, but I didn't. But it was apparently funny, so I'm liking how this kit is coming together so far, even if I'm annoyed at some of the drills not sticking sometimes. I'm trying to be more conscious of how lightly I'm picking things up and placing them. Maybe that's why I'm going slower. I'm trying to be more deliberate about how I'm doing things. I can blame it on that too. That works. I fear this is going to be another short WIP and chat because I just don't really have a lot to talk about, you guys. Maybe my brain is broken. It was like I could chit chat forever earlier. Now I have trouble holding on to a train of thought. Maybe it's some of my new medications. Hopefully not. Or if it is, hopefully I get used to them and that will stop being an issue. But yeah, so far this kit has been way more fun than the Coliseum one was. I don't know if their drills are a slightly different size. That's kind of what it felt like. I think my new dishwasher is singing to us to tell us it's done. Still loving the new dishwasher. It's super quiet. Like I literally have to walk right up to it before I even know it's running. Our other one was so loud we would have to turn up the TV in the living room so that you could hear the television over the dishwasher. And they were on opposite walls of the house almost, so it was pretty loud. I mean, it's just one big open room, but still. So you guys, it's so funny. I sat down to work on these WIP and chats and I'm cold, but I know better than to put on a sweater anymore because once I do, then all of a sudden it's super hot. I'm starting to wonder if I'm getting to be light sensitive. Wouldn't that be crazy? The guy from Styx had that. He had to quit performing because he couldn't perform under the lights anymore. He had some kind of light sickness. I didn't even know that was a thing. I guess when you perform under all those lights for all those years. But who knew, right? I really like the skin tones of this little girl so far, this little mermaid. I've been keeping my putty in the fridge because it's been so humid here. You guys, I think I'm ready to try something besides the museum putty, so leave me comments down below and let me know what putty you use that is the best. I know people have said ghost putty, but I think that's mostly for like ABs and stuff. Or can you use that as just like regular putty? I know some people have told me alien putty, but leave me a comment with your favorite place to get putty. It doesn't have to look fancy. I don't care if it's molded into shapes and whatnot. I just want it to work consistently and to not be temperature sensitive. I tried the Diamond Art Club putty. To me, it's not really putty. It's just clear wax. And it doesn't work for me any better really than the wax did. I was still having to refill it way too often. So that one is out. But if you have any other suggestions of like Etsy shops or whatever, I would love to hear them. My museum putty is just getting too tacky in all the humidity. And when it gets tacky, it gets stringy, which is not good. But you have to try several different things because, as always, what works for one person may not work for you. Because like I said, I've had several people recommend the Diamond Art Club putty, and I did not like it at all. I wish I did. I would have enough of it, but it did not work for me. Okay, make sure I got all of the E's. Because this kit, I have been really bad about all of a sudden, oh yeah, there's all of these over here that I missed. So hopefully I'm doing a better job of that today. One last thing that I wanted to share with you guys was the pin that everybody's been showing where you automatically load the drills and then you can dispense them. I don't know if it works as they show or not. I found one called Bead Blitz, but it only ships to the US, so I couldn't order one to try it out. However, I did find a bunch of them exactly like it on Amazon, so I ordered one of those. It's not here yet, so I can't tell you exactly what it's going to be like, but once it finally arrives, when it gets here, it was supposed to be here yesterday and it still isn't here. So once it gets here, I'll be able to test it out. I've seen some things about it that it only holds a certain amount of drills. You have to use the tray that comes with it to load the pin, etc., etc. I don't know. I don't know how any of it works, but I bought one. So once it finally gets here, I'll be able to try it out and let you guys know if it works as they show. Don't forget to leave me a comment down below with your favorite putty stores so that I can get some to try. And also don't forget to go vote for the themes for January, February, and March of next year for our diamond paint-alongs. I will try to remember to drop something in the Facebook group to let everybody in the group know to go vote as well. I'd love to have as many of you vote as possible, so that would be awesome. That's it for me today, guys. Before you leave, don't forget to do all the things. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification icon so that you can be informed of future uploads. And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching. You, Oscar, you're so cute. Are you sleeping with your head on the blanket? Oh, don't get up. You were sleeping so good. Did she grab your toy, Oscar? Did she grab your toy? Poor baby. Poor baby. Get it, Oscar. Get it, Oscar. Get it, Sable. Get it.